Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about some new items that I found for your homemade MREs. Alright everybody, welcome back. So if you guys were with me about a year ago, and I figured it was time to update this video since I've gotten so many subs since then, some of you may not have seen it. I did a video on making homemade MREs. This is actually one that I made back then. I had another one that I recently put together and ate to make sure it was still good, and I did a video on that. And of course it was fine. And what I'm showing you is some new items that I found to use in your homemade MREs. I try to make these MREs actually MREs. In other words, stuff you can eat without heating up. Of course, I'm going to try out a couple of new things I got, and we're going to heat them up today. But I try to make them as close to military MREs as possible. In a real emergency, if I'm starving, I can eat this cold. You know what I mean? I can even eat the Spam cold if you like Spam. It's not something that needs to be heated up. It's still cooked and ready to go. So the premise behind this is that they're so much cheaper to make for yourself. If you have a vacuum sealer, and I mean when I first made these, I actually have it here. I made them in plastic bags. So they work fine for that, and they'll work fine in a vacuum sealer. I put them in a vacuum sealer about 4 or 5 months ago when I got my new vacuum sealer, and it seems to hold up pretty well. Now again, I have a lot of stuff that's in bags here, so it gets puffy. You know, the juice and the applesauce and the chicken, but it's probably fine. You know, as a general rule, I like doing it this way because it sucks all the air out and it keeps stuff fresher. But you can still do them in Ziploc bags, and that's even cheaper when it comes to per item cost. Now, I mean, this thing here probably cost, let's include the bag and everything, maybe, I don't know, less than $5, $5 or $6, if you add everything in. Because I bought most of this stuff in packs. You know, I bought like 5 of these in a pack. I bought a bunch of these little juice boxes, a bunch of these little, you know, they come in 5 or 6 pack type display items. So I picked them up that way. So they're a little bit cheaper. So you maybe think $5 or $6 as opposed to $10 or $12 for a military MRE. I don't have a heater in here, so of course you'd have to carry a cook kit. But when it comes to making up a couple of these for your go bags, as opposed to spending $75 or $80 for 12 meals, these are way more effective, way more cost effective. So this is definitely an affordable, budget-friendly way to get some ready-to-go meals. And even if you put a couple of these together for your go bags, you know, if you have to leave from a fire, a flood, a hurricane, whatever, you've got meals ready to go. You may have to heat them up, you may not. You know, if you can, you know, if you're really in a pinch and you can't heat them, they're still edible. So I'm going to go into some of these items here. I'm going to get this out of the way. First thing I'm going to tell you about is collect your packets from stores. These are from Panda Express, but these are really, really valuable force multipliers when it comes to making decent MREs, homemade MREs. They can make the food taste a little better. They can cover up tastes you don't like. It's definitely handy, and for some reason, Panda Express seems to love to give these things out to me when I go there. I order like a thing of pot stickers, and they gave me all of this. So, I mean, this kind of stuff is handy to stick in a homemade MRE. You know, you can just toss it in there, and, you know, slides right in, seal it up, you're good to go. So definitely, even ketchups, mustards, stuff like that, mayos, anything that you get extra, save them. Don't throw them out. We also save them in our fridge, too, because there's always that time where you know, just made a bunch of hamburgers and, oh, shoot, I didn't get ketchup at the store. Well, you have ketchup packs. I'm just showing you these because I really like the stuff from Panda Express as far as what they give out. You got hot sauce, chili sauce, pot sticker sauce, a little bit of hot mustard, soy. So that's something you can always keep ready for your MREs. Now, another thing that's going to seem kind of counterintuitive here is if you've already eaten an MRE and there's something you didn't like in it, keep it out. There's no law that says you can't stick an MRE component into your homemade MRE. This is something new that I've seen at Walmart, actually. This is ready pasta. It's basically al dente cooked, so it's a little firm. All you really have to do is heat it up. You can microwave it, or you can heat it up in water in a cook stove. Really simple to make. And again, edible right out of the package in a pinch, in an emergency. Let's move on to these. Now, I've done these a couple times on my channel, the Hormel Completes. These are also good, any of this stuff is good, for storing in your storeroom or your storage area. If you keep a Rubbermaid tub full of emergency food, these are good. I would suggest checking on them more often because they do have these, these little pull tabs here. They are fairly strong. I'm going to tell you a story about this particular entree. Not this one here. I ate that one. But this particular type of entree, the Swedish meatballs. I had this in a work bag for 5 years. It was my work bag that I carried when I went to the gun shop I worked at. And when they closed and moved away, I took that bag apart, took it all apart, and I'm like, oh wow, I wonder if that's still good. I totally forgot it was in there. I ate it. It was still just as good as new. And this bag had been through extreme heat, extreme cold, rain, wind, had been everywhere. It was just a small backpack that I had for emergencies at work. Worked great. So they will hold up for a while. I'd still suggest rotating them out every year just because of the seal. The way the seals could fail or, could tear. But I've done videos on these tons of times before. You've seen them. They're really, really good. And of course, the good old staples, Spam and ramen. I have a lot of people tell me, oh, ramen goes bad in a year. I have a Rubbermaid tub of ramen that I'm now rotating out of. And I will take a case out and, the big flats they have of cases of them and put a new case in and I'll eat the old ones. Now, they're a good 4 to 5 years old. I haven't had a bad one yet. Can you taste a slight difference? Ever so slight. But when you're starving and you're hungry, you're not going to really notice that. But seriously, I have not had one that's, rancid or bad. The way they're describing it make them sound like they'd be like growing with mold and nastiness. I've really not had one go bad. Then again, I do keep them in that Rubbermaid tub in a climate-controlled room. It's basically a spare bedroom I've converted to a storeroom. Now, why do I pick these instead of the cans? These are not cost-effective compared to the cans. The cans are like, $2 something, and these are $1 something each. So, not really cost-effective, but they're slim, and you can pack them in with stuff like that. And there's your MRE, a couple of these and some rice. So that's why I get a few of these. I always keep a few around if I'm going to make some more homemade MREs, and that's probably what I'm going to do with these eventually, and we'll do a video on that when I do it. But again, really handy item. If you can get the Spam singles, they're pretty good. The same stuff, they taste the same. It's just, 2 of these is more than enough for a meal with some rice or some noodles or whatever. So there's those. Prego Ready Meals. I actually did an entire video just on these type of meals. These things are awesome. They're cost effective. They're not too expensive. They taste good. Again, they say microwavable. You can cook them in a pan. You can just put them in a pan, heat them up, keep stirring it around. They'll be fine. You can also eat them cold if you have to in an emergency. Again, MRE. Meal ready to eat. All right, let's move on to the new stuff. Now, this is brand new. I've never seen these VT Thai rice before. They have a bunch of different flavors. This is just their Thai version. And I like that, so I wanted to give it a try. So we're going to try this out today. Again, it's got these seals. Now, sealed in a bag like this, I wouldn't worry about it as much. Just left on your shelf if you use this in your storeroom. First of all, it's not cost effective. You can store an entire 5-gallon bucket of rice way cheaper than these individual portions. But keep an eye on the peel tabs. And we're going to heat that up again in a pan. We'll just heat it up with a little bit of butter in a pan. It'll be fine. And these guys, these are brand new from Velveeta. Cheesy bowls. That's Ultimate Cheeseburger Mac and Ultimate Bacon and Mac and Cheese. So we're going to try these all out. I'm going to set up a little burner here, and I'm going to show you how I heat these up and how I heat this up. And we're just going to take a little taste of each and see if they're good to store. Again, now, if you're storing these for an MRE, since we're going to open these up anyway, get rid of the packaging. And you can do them just like that. They do come with their cheese sauce separate, so you're going to be heating this up and then putting the cheese sauce in there. So let me get my burner out, and let me change the battery in my camera because I see it's low, and I'll bring you right back. Now remember when I told you to save those little sides you get from fast food places? Butter from KFC. We've got a bunch of these. Every time they give you a biscuit, they give you like 10 butters. I put them in the fridge. You don't really need to refrigerate them, because as you can tell, it's buttery spread. And yes, I know this isn't real butter. There's always somebody that has to come in the video and goes, that's not real butter. That's got toxins and chemicals in it. I'm like, I know. We're eating for survival here. We're not eating for everyday diet. So if you do happen to eat out a lot, you can pick these up. And they're, basically a free component to add to your, this one's still frozen from my fridge. They're a free component to add to your thing. So what I'm going to do is heat up the rice. I'm going to turn this on first. And you just want to keep it at a low simmer. And again, I'm not going to make you watch me cook every single thing here. We're just going to go through this, and when it's done, I'll bring you back and we'll taste it. Again, this isn't a stove test or a cooking test or anything like that. It's really just to see. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want the rice to burn to the bottom. This is a titanium pan, but still, I don't want it to burn to the bottom. This stuff isn't the best for cooking, but it works. So we're going to kind of, I'm going to turn that down a little. There we go. I'm going to turn that down as low as we can. And we're going to drop the rice in there and see how we like it. If I can open the bag. There we go. I'm not going to cook the whole thing because it seems like a waste. And this does seem to have a little residual, maybe I'll throw it all in there. It does seem to have a little residual moisture to it. It's kind of sticky. So, now that I got rice all over my hand, we're going to stir it up a little bit and heat it up and warm it up. And really all you got to do is just kind of take it and stir it around so it doesn't stick to the bottom. And it should be heated up fairly quickly. Again, if you're doing this in a pot, you can cover it. You can double boil it. You can have a water under there and put it in something. But this is just a fast way to do it. So I'm going to bring you back when we try this out and see if we like it. Alright, so this is all done. It's been heating up for a while now. I'll tell you one thing, you can smell the lime on it. It smells really, really good. This is, again, Thai lime and herb rice. Let's see if I'd go with it. That's really, really good. Yeah. Give you a quick look at it. That's really good. And I mean, I think it was $1.79. And that's really enough rice for 2 people if you're doing some spam and rice or something like that. Or maybe hot dogs, whatever you're going to put in there. Beans and wieners, on the side maybe. That's more than enough rice. Again, I did a couple of freeze-dried meals as well with the Thrive Life stuff. I would have no problem throwing that in there with some Thrive Life that needed to be rehydrated, like chicken or beef or something. That would be awesome with it. So, there's that. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, so we're going to try these out next. Now, I've never opened one of these, so I don't know how they're going to work. I may have to put some water in the pan. We'll see. That is your cheese sauce pouch. Heat, then stir in liquid gold. Alright, so there's already a little cheese in here, so I probably won't have to add much of anything. We're going to get a pan here. Just dump it in. There we go. Put that off to the side. And again, we're going to keep it, remember, you want to keep it on low. So you want a stove that can do low heat. I don't know if you can see that flame there, but it's very, very low. You don't want it to be sizzling and crackling and burning the heck out of your food. I managed to avoid doing that with the rice. This looks like it's the bacon. I think I see bacon in there. So give me a few minutes. Let me heat that up, and we'll do a taste test on it. All right, so now we're going to dump the cheese sauce in there and try it out. All right. Drop it in there. It really looks like that mac and cheese that comes with that pouch too, so it's really no different. And it heated up very easily in a pan. It seems to already be kind of moistened with the cheese, so it really wasn't a problem of getting it in there. So let's mix it up. Now that it's hot, it's all melting in there good. And this is the bacon and cheese. This isn't the hamburger. Let's take a look at it. There you go. Yep. Tastes like any other. It tastes just like regular mac and cheese to me. Bacon is nice and crispy in there. All in all, another good side dish or entree, depending on how much you want to eat. Definitely something I would stick in there. Again, these little packs, they're nice and small. Very, you can definitely get that into an MRE. So let's try out the next one. All right, this is the cheeseburger mac. This one here. I'm gonna open it up for you. And I will say these seals do feel very secure. I'm not really worried about them popping open. They actually take a little bit of a tug to actually get them out. They're not gonna fall out of there or break from just normal usage. So let's heat it up. I'll bring back when that's heated up. All right. Now you notice these don't burn to the bottom. This is nice and warm now, as you can tell by the steam coming off it. Let's make sure. Yep. Okay. Put that cheese pouch in there. Again, this isn't like a, I'm not telling people to eat this stuff every day in your survival food, but to have it as a ready-to-go meal when you're starving, you got to evacuate your house or whatever. And again, that's kind of what I feel bug-out bags are for. I have a separate kit set up ready to go if I have to ever totally evacuate my house and never come back. Bug-out bags to me are for short-term emergencies. Now, if I have to leave, some kind of horrible disaster has happened, am I going to take all my bug-out bags and my gear and my, full never-coming-home kit? Of course. And if I got stuck with just a bug-out bag, I'd be pretty well set up for a few days at least. But a bug-out bag is just too small to carry enough where you're never coming home again, We all like that idea of us just strapping on our packs and walking away from our home and into the wilderness, but you won't last long with a bug-out bag. You really need more of a support system, and you need somewhere to go, too. So, let's give this a try here. Yep. Hamburger's actually very good. I'll give you a look at it here. Yeah. Now again, I'm going to tell you, store what you like. Don't store stuff that, you normally find disgusting. If you're watching this video and you're in the middle of your paleo diet and you find only, protein and whatever, of course, you're not going to take that with you. But for a survival food in a situation like that, making a homemade MRE is very cost effective. And as you can tell from all the items, pretty tasty. Definitely if I was hungry, I wouldn't be turning any of this down. If I even had to just eat the rice alone, I'd eat it because it's really that good. So I plan on doing some more videos and making up of some more homemade MREs. But as you can see, they're really not any bigger, actually a little smaller than most military MREs. And you can pack pretty much anything in there. And these little containers that this stuff comes in, they'll fit right in there. So maybe you can get a little pack of chicken like this here and heat that up in a pan, heat that mac and cheese, throw it in there with bacon, can't think today, with the bacon, and you'll have yourself a decent meal, and it's a very small thing. These are kind of thick because they got, applesauce and a juice drink and all that. You really don't need all that. You can get a little Crystal Light individual, those little packets, of individual stuff, and with the water you have, you can make yourself a drink with your meal. So anyway, that is the video for today. Some new items that you can make homemade MREs out of. And let me know what you come up with if you can think of other stuff. I'm always on the prowl, when I go through the Walmart section there where, and also in Smith's, I look at the section where the canned food is and stuff like this, because it's amazing what you find. And I wanted to correct something. I didn't find this rice in Walmart. I found it in Smith's. So you never know what you're going to find, and it's fun to, I have a bag over here, one of those little shopping bags, just full of foods like this, that when I get around to it, hey, let's make some more homemade MREs. They really work well. They even work well for power outages. You don't have to be bugging out to use these. You could lose power, a little stove like this, and a couple packs of these, and you have food. So, definitely a cool idea. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to check out our Amazon store down below. Don't forget to check out our Olight link. We have an Olight video coming up pretty soon. Got lots of neat flashlights in there and tactical stuff and anything you need for your weapons. Don't forget to check out our Thrive Life link, because that's where this can come and play too. You could pack up some Thrive Life food and be ready to go with that stuff just as easily as any of the pre-made stuff. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.